They interrupt you mid-sentence. They make jokes at your expense and call it just teasing. They test how far they can go, just to see if you'll flinch. Most people react without thinking. They raise their voices. They explain themselves. They try to win respect by force or approval. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The moment you react emotionally, you've already lost power. Disrespect isn't random. It's a test, and every test is watching one thing: your self-control. When someone disrespects you, they're not curious about your words. They're measuring your stability. The calmer you stay, the more authority you quietly claim. In today's world, people are loud, reactive, and easily triggered. Calmness stands out because it's rare, and what is rare is perceived as powerful. This is why Stoic philosophers didn't argue their worth. They embodied it. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire without shouting, threatening, or explaining himself to everyone who doubted him. Stoicism teaches a counterintuitive truth. Power doesn't come from dominance. It comes from mastery. Mastery over your emotions, mastery over your reactions, mastery over the moment someone tries to pull you off center. In this video, you'll learn exactly what to do when someone disrespects you, not to escalate, not to submit, but to remain calm and gain real power that no one can take from you. 1. Pause before you react. The space where power is born. They want a reaction, not your wisdom, not your truth, your reaction. Disrespect is rarely about what was said. It's about what it provokes. When someone cuts you off, mocks you, or speaks over you, they are pulling for an emotional response. Anger, embarrassment, nervous laughter, long explanations. The moment you give them that reaction, you hand them control of the moment. Most people don't realize this. They think reacting fast means standing up for themselves. They believe volume equals strength, or that explaining their intentions will restore respect. In reality, those reflexes do the opposite. They signal instability. They show that your emotional center is easy to shake, and people only test those they think they can move. Stoicism begins with a hard truth. You don't control other people's behavior. You never did. You never will. What you control is your response, and that response is where your power lives. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wasn't poetry. It was instruction. The Stoics understood that whoever controls the emotional tempo of an interaction controls the outcome. Think about the psychology behind disrespect. The person who disrespects you is watching closely. They're measuring how fast you react, how loud you get, how defensive you become. If you react immediately, emotionally, you confirm that they've touched a nerve. And once they know where the nerve is, they'll press it again. Now picture a different response. They interrupt you. You stop speaking. You don't rush to reclaim the floor. You pause. That pause does something unsettling. It breaks their rhythm. It creates uncertainty. In those 2 or 3 seconds of silence, the emotional pressure shifts. Instead of you scrambling to respond, they become aware of themselves. That awareness is power. In a workplace meeting, someone talks over you to assert dominance. Most people either talk louder or withdraw completely. The Stoic response is neither. You let the interruption land. You hold your posture. You maintain eye contact. You wait. When you speak again, it's measured and brief. That pause signals self-command. It tells the room you are not reactive, not rushed, and not intimidated. This is not passive behavior. This is disciplined restraint. Anger is easy. Nervous laughter is easy. Over-explaining is easy. Pausing takes strength. It requires you to tolerate discomfort without escaping into impulse. That tolerance is what separates authority from insecurity. Neuroscience aligns with this ancient insight. Emotional reactions hijack rational control. A brief pause allows the nervous system to settle and the prefrontal cortex to re-engage. But long before science named it, the Stoics practiced it. They trained themselves to insert space between stimulus and response. That space is where choice lives. The practice is simple, but not easy. When disrespect happens, say nothing. Take 2 slow breaths. Hold a steady, neutral gaze. That's it. No facial theatrics, no tightening of the jaw, no rushed words. Just presence. Most people underestimate how powerful this looks. Calm signals confidence. Stability signals authority. People instinctively defer to those who appear unshaken. Over time, this changes how others treat you. Not because you demanded respect, but because you demonstrated it. Those who seek reactions lose interest when they stop getting them. Those who value composure begin to recognize you as someone grounded and reliable. Remember this line and carry it with you. Calm is not a weakness. Calm is command. Every time you pause instead of react, you reclaim control of the situation, and more importantly, you reclaim control of yourself. 2. Use silence as a boundary. When silence is a deliberate choice. Not every comment deserves your reply. Not every provocation deserves your energy. And not every form of disrespect deserves access to you. One of the greatest misunderstandings in modern social life is the belief that silence equals weakness. Many people think that if they don't respond, they are losing ground or allowing someone else to dominate the situation. Stoic philosophy teaches the opposite. Silence is not weakness when it is chosen. Silence is strength when it is intentional. There is a critical distinction you must understand. Silence driven by fear feels tight, anxious, and unresolved. It comes from the desire to avoid conflict while resentment quietly builds inside. Chosen silence feels different. It is calm. It is grounded. It is a conscious decision to protect your inner order. Others can sense this difference immediately, even if they don't consciously recognize it. The Stoics understood a fundamental psychological principle long before modern behavioral science put words to it. What you respond to, you reinforce. Every emotional reaction rewards the behavior that triggered it. Sarcasm survives because it gets attention. Mockery escalates because it produces reactions. Disrespect feeds on engagement. When you remove your response, you remove its fuel. Seneca warned, anger is a temporary madness. Not because anger feels weak, but because it makes you act against your own long-term interest. When you argue with disrespect, you meet it on its level. When you try to correct every slight, you teach others that provoking you works. Silence denies them that reward. Think about how often disrespect is disguised as humor. I was just joking. You're too sensitive. These lines are designed to give the speaker plausible deniability while still testing your boundaries. If you react emotionally, you look reactive. If you laugh along, you abandon your self-respect. This is where silence becomes a powerful boundary. You don't smile, you don't explain, you don't defend. You allow the comment to hang in the air exactly as it is. That silence creates psychological pressure, but not on you, on them. Without your reaction, the speaker is forced to sit with their own behavior. The joke loses its cover, the remark reveals itself. Most people are deeply uncomfortable when their behavior is no longer cushioned by your response. They either retreat, soften, or grow visibly uneasy. This is the hidden function of silence. It reflects responsibility back to its source. Instead of you managing the tension, the other person must confront it. This quiet mirror is far more effective than confrontation because it doesn't escalate. It exposes. However, Stoicism is not about being silent in all situations. Silence is a tool, not a rule. Wisdom lies in knowing when silence preserves your power and when speaking is necessary. The question is never, should I say something? The question is, will speaking improve my position or weaken it? Use silence when the disrespect is performative. Use silence when the goal is to provoke. Use silence when the other person wants a reaction, not resolution. But there are moments when silence would signal tolerance for behavior that crosses your core values. In those moments, Stoicism does not tell you to endure quietly. It tells you to respond briefly, clearly, and without emotional charge. One sentence, no justification, no argument. Then silence again. The boundary is stated and the space is restored. This rhythm matters. Silence creates the structure. Words, when used sparingly, carry weight. Without silence, language becomes noise. Without restraint, boundaries collapse. Many people fear silence because it feels awkward. They rush to fill it, to smooth things over, to relieve tension. But that discomfort is precisely what makes silence effective. Disrespect thrives in noise and chaos. Calm silence introduces consequence without hostility. It communicates self-respect without explanation. Over time, people learn how to treat you by watching what you respond to and what you ignore. Silence teaches faster than lectures ever could. Those who seek reactions lose interest when none arrive. Those who value composure begin to recognize you as someone grounded and unmovable. Remember this principle and carry it with you. Silence, when chosen, becomes a wall. Not a wall of fear, but a wall of self-command. 3. Stop explaining yourself. When explanation becomes a loss of power, the more you explain, the less powerful you appear. The longer your justification, the weaker your position becomes. And the moment you feel the urge to defend your worth, you've already handed it away. Most people explain themselves for reasons that feel reasonable. They're afraid of being misunderstood. They want to look fair, rational, and good. They fear that silence will make them look guilty or incompetent. So they talk, and talk, and talk some more. What they don't realize is that excessive explanation silently invites judgment. Every explanation carries an unspoken message. You have the right to evaluate me. That message is rarely intentional, but it is always received. From a Stoic perspective, self-worth does not require approval. It is internal, grounded in character and action, not perception. Epictetus captured this perfectly when he said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." He wasn't encouraging secrecy. He was warning against outsourcing your value to the opinions of others. When someone disrespects you, their goal is often not understanding, it's leverage. They push, question, provoke, or criticize to see if you'll scramble to justify yourself. And the moment you do, you step into their frame. You accept their authority to decide whether your reasons are good enough. This is especially visible around personal decisions. You change careers, you set a boundary, you say no to something you used to tolerate. Suddenly, people want explanations, not out of curiosity, but out of discomfort. Your choice unsettles them, so they interrogate it. If you respond with long defenses, you teach them that your decisions are negotiable. Stoicism offers a cleaner response. Short, calm, final. I've decided this is best for me. This doesn't work for me anymore. I'm not available for that. No emotional padding, no backstory, no courtroom defense. This kind of response feels uncomfortable at first because it violates a social habit. We've been trained to over-justify, to soften our boundaries so others won't feel uneasy. But power does not come from making everyone comfortable. It comes from being aligned with yourself. Psychologically, explanations extend the interaction. They invite debate. They open doors to manipulation. The more details you provide, the more material someone has to poke holes in. Short responses close loops. They signal certainty. Certainty commands respect, even from people who don't like your choice. This doesn't mean becoming cold or dismissive. it means being precise. There is a difference between clarity and overexposure. Clarity states the decision. Overexposure tries to defend it. One preserves dignity, the other drains it. Notice how manipulators react when you stop explaining. They press harder. They accuse you of being selfish. They frame your silence as arrogance. This is not a sign you're wrong. It's a sign the old access point is closing. When someone can no longer pull you into justification, they lose control. Those who respected you never needed long explanations to begin with. Those who relied on your compliance feel threatened when it ends. This is the quiet filter effect of Stoic behavior. People who value boundaries adjust. People who value control fall away. Nothing needs to be announced. The sorting happens naturally. There are moments when explanation is appropriate. Teaching, collaboration, mutual respect. Stoicism is not anti-communication. It is anti-defensiveness. The difference lies in your internal posture. Are you explaining to inform or explaining to protect your ego from judgment? The body knows the difference before the mind does. When disrespect is present, explanations rarely elevate the situation. They feed it. The calmer and shorter your response, the more authority you retain. Silence after a brief statement is not rudeness, it is finality. Remember this principle when the pressure to justify rises in your chest. You don't need permission to choose. You don't need approval to set boundaries. You don't need consensus to respect yourself. Carry this line with you and let it guide your responses. You don't owe clarity to disrespect. 4. Hold your ground without aggression, standing firm, without becoming loud. You don't need to raise your voice to be taken seriously. You don't need sharp words to establish authority, and you don't need aggression to prove strength. One of the most damaging myths about respect is the belief that you must become harder, colder, or more forceful when someone crosses your boundaries. Many people think strength looks like dominance, intimidation, or emotional toughness. So when they feel disrespected, they tighten their jaws, sharpen their tone, and push back with visible tension. What they don't realize is that aggression often reveals insecurity before it communicates power. Stoic philosophy rejects this idea completely. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others, strict with yourself." This wasn't a call for passivity. It was a reminder that real authority comes from self-command, not from overpowering others. The person who remains calm under pressure signals control. And control is what people instinctively respect. Holding your ground does not mean attacking. It means refusing to be moved. It is the ability to stay centered when someone tries to provoke, test, or destabilize you. Aggression escalates emotional chaos. Calm firmness restores order. And in any social dynamic, the one who restores order quietly becomes the anchor. Disrespect rarely begins loudly. It starts small, a sarcastic remark, a dismissive tone, a joke that crosses the line. These moments are tests, not accidents. People unconsciously probe to see what will be tolerated. If they sense hesitation, they push again. Not always out of malice, but because human beings seek structure. Where structure is unclear, pressure increases. This is where Stoic posture becomes essential. Posture is more than body language, it's emotional alignment. Stand upright, not rigid. Let your shoulders relax. Keep your movements slow and deliberate. Maintain steady eye contact without staring or challenging. Speak slightly slower than your instinct tells you to. A controlled pace communicates confidence far more effectively than force ever could. Your nervous system sets the tone before your words do. When you remain regulated, others feel it. They may not understand why the interaction feels different, but they adjust. Calm presence unsettles people who rely on emotional pressure. When words are necessary, Stoic boundaries are brief, neutral and final. They are not explanations, they are statements of position. That's not acceptable. I won't continue this conversation that way. Let's keep this respectful. Notice the structure. No insults, no emotional charge, no justification. These sentences are not designed to win an argument. They are designed to end one. After delivering them, you stop speaking. Silence completes the boundary. Many people struggle here because they fear appearing cold or unkind. They confuse firmness with hostility, but kindness without boundaries becomes self-betrayal. Stoicism does not ask you to abandon warmth. It asks you to anchor it in self-respect. You can be calm without being passive. You can be respectful without being permissive. Aggression seeks dominance. Stoic strength seeks stability. Dominance creates resistance. Stability creates trust. In every environment, workplaces, families, relationships, the person who remains stable under pressure becomes the reference point. Others either align with that stability or drift away. Both outcomes protect your peace. There will be moments when your composure is mocked. Someone may interpret your calm as arrogance or emotional distance. This is another test. The temptation is to explain yourself or soften your stance. Resist it. The steadier you remain, the clearer your position becomes. Over time, consistency teaches others how to treat you better than any confrontation ever could. Remember this: boundaries are not about controlling people. They are about controlling your participation. You're not forcing respect. You're removing access when respect is absent. That distinction preserves dignity, yours and theirs. Let this truth settle deeply into your mindset. Strength doesn't shout. It isn't threatening. It doesn't rush to be understood. Strength stands. 5. Walk away with dignity. The final act of self-command. Not every battle deserves your energy. Not every confrontation deserves your voice. And not every situation deserves your presence. One of the hardest truths Stoicism asks you to accept is this: sometimes the most powerful response is to leave. Many people stay in environments where they are repeatedly disrespected because they confuse endurance with strength. They tell themselves that walking away means losing, quitting, or failing some invisible test of resilience. But Stoic wisdom makes a sharp distinction between resilience and self-betrayal. Endurance has value only when it serves growth or purpose. When disrespect becomes a pattern, endurance turns into erosion. Small compromises stack up. Calm becomes tense. Self-respect becomes exhaustion. What looks like patience on the surface slowly becomes abandonment of self underneath. Stoicism teaches you to look at patterns, not isolated moments. A single rude comment can be corrected. A repeated lack of respect reveals intent. When boundaries are calmly stated and repeatedly ignored, when silence and firmness change nothing, and when good faith is absent, the situation has already given you its answer. At that point, staying is no longer noble. It is optional suffering. Stoic detachment is often misunderstood as emotional coldness. In truth, it is emotional clarity. It is the ability to choose peace over ego, long-term stability over short-term validation. Seneca wrote, "You suffer more in imagination than in reality." Much of what keeps people trapped in toxic dynamics is fear. Fear of how leaving will look, fear of regret, fear of being misunderstood. Stoicism asks you to question those fears instead of obeying them. Walking away does not require anger. It does not require explanations, and it does not require a dramatic ending. Dignity is preserved through restraint. No speeches, no ultimatums, no emotional closure rituals. You simply withdraw your participation. You stop showing up where your presence is not respected. This quiet withdrawal is often far more unsettling than confrontation because it denies the other person what they relied on: your energy. Consider a relationship where your boundaries are consistently dismissed. Each time you stay, hoping things will change, you reinforce the dynamic. Consider a workplace where disrespect is normalized under the guise of pressure or culture. Each day you tolerate it, you teach the environment what it can extract from you. Stoic wisdom says this clearly: you are allowed to leave environments that damage your inner order. The psychological impact of walking away is profound. Disrespect requires access. When you remove access, the power structure collapses. You are no longer available to be provoked, drained, or diminished. This is not punishment, it is disengagement, and disengagement ends the game entirely. Many people fear that leaving means the other person wins. This is an illusion rooted in ego. Winning is not about staying in a losing environment. Winning is about preserving your clarity and self-command. The Stoic does not seek victory over others. The Stoic seeks sovereignty over the self. There will be moments when people try to pull you back. They may downplay the behavior. They may promise change. They may accuse you of being unforgiving or cold. This is another test. Stoicism trains you to look past words and observe actions. Has the pattern truly changed, or is this simply an attempt to restore access to you? Walking away also changes how you see yourself. Each time you choose dignity over endurance, you reinforce a powerful internal message. Your peace matters. Over time, this recalibrates your standards. You become less tolerant of chaos, less reactive to provocation, and less willing to negotiate your self-respect. The paradox is this: when you stop fighting for respect, you often start receiving it. People sense when someone is no longer available for games. Some will adjust, others will disappear. Both outcomes serve your growth. Remember, walking away is not weakness, it is discernment. It is knowing when engagement no longer serves virtue, clarity, or stability. You're not obligated to stay where respect is absent. You are not required to sacrifice your calm to prove your toughness. Carry this Stoic truth with you and let it guide your exits. Your absence teaches what words never could. Before you leave, take a moment to let this settle. What you've learned today isn't a set of tricks for dealing with rude people. It's a way of reclaiming authority over yourself. You've seen 5 Stoic responses to disrespect: pausing before you react, using silence as a boundary, refusing to explain yourself, holding your ground without aggression, and walking away with dignity. Each one points to the same truth. Power is not loud, emotional, or reactive. Power is calm, deliberate, and self-directed. You cannot control how others behave. You cannot stop people from testing you, judging you, or crossing lines. But you always control how you stand when it happens. Stoicism is not about winning arguments or dominating people. It's about maintaining inner order when chaos invites you to lose it. The Stoic doesn't seek to defeat others. The Stoic seeks to remain unshaken. This philosophy only becomes real when you practice it. The next time you feel disrespected, notice the impulse to react. Pause. Choose stillness over impulse. Choose clarity over ego. With time, calm stops being something you try to access and becomes who you are. If this message spoke to you, leave this commitment in the comments, not for others, but for yourself. I choose calm. I choose power. Subscribe for more Stoic lessons on self-command, emotional discipline, and quiet confidence. Thank you for spending this time here, and I'll see you in the next video.